In active addiction, I went to any length to get and use and find a way to come up with what I needed for my substances. And so I did what any person in addiction would do. I got up one morning, and here's my best thinking. I got to get this bag of dope, and I don't have any money. So I pump and jump, I fill the car up, and I'm gonna leave my city, which is North Little Rock, and I'm gonna go 2 cities over. And I spent all morning driving, and I found a house, and I burglarized that house. And I went in there, and I stole this row of rare DVDs. For you younger generations, that's a thing that movies used to be on. It was a silver disc. Back then, they had just came out with a cartoon thing called Japanimation. So I went to Hastings. Okay, now I drove 2 cities away and I committed the crime. Now here's what I learned, all right? Now you don't use the bathroom in your backyard, so I'm gonna go 2 cities in the opposite direction, Alex, to sell them. And so out of the hundreds and hundreds of houses I could have went in, I went in the one I went in. And out of the dozens of Hastings I could have went in, I went in. Well, the CDs were such a rare set that the man had to call the manager over. He needed a cash override. And I'm like, ooh, boy, I'm getting 2 8-balls. I can't wait. The manager came over and he turned that, he said, man, this is a great collection. I've got this same collection. And he turned the page and he said, man, do you realize how rare this is? And I'm like, yeah. And he turned the page and he said, hang on, I've got to call my house. Out of all the stores I could have went into, Rosetta, I sold that man his own stuff. So don't tell me God doesn't have a sense of humor. Now, I'd already given him my driver's license. Guess who came and arrested me? Kirk Lane, top cop. I was sentenced to 7 years in the Department of Corrections. In the state of Arkansas, you do 2 months on every year, so I went and did 14 months. I was not offered services. I had a substance use problem. I struggled all my life, brother, and I didn't get the help I needed while I was there or returning. So what did I do? The only thing I knew to do. I got up, but this time I'm smarter, Margaret. I'm not going back that way. I'm going 2 cities this way. And I'm gonna take 2 buddies with me. And I break in another house, and I burglarize, and I stole what this good family worked hard for. And so I stepped outside because I was a lazy crook. And I said, y'all carry that safe. I'm gonna take a smoke break and make sure nobody comes. And so I go out here and I'm smoking, and I thump my cigarette, and the folks come home and they don't smoke. And so guess how easy it was to link my DNA to that crime? Here I am gonna leave the evidence in their garage. Guess who came and arrested me? Kirk Lane, top cop. They gave me 7 years. Again, I go and I do 14 months. I don't get offered the services I need. Are you seeing the pattern here? I come home. I got a fresh 7 years running, a new 7 years. So my parole is just starting over. Now, this is my, I think, 3rd or 4th trip to prison already. And so I come home. Well, this time, Rosetta, I'm not robbing no house. All right, now I done learned. They say insanity's repeating and yada, yada, yada. I get that. So I'm going to sell dope. Now, I wasn't very good at that either. I told you guys before, my dad and I were the only white family for 17 blocks. I lived in the projects, and I also want to say this. The only difference between the projects and the trailer park is skin tone. Poverty is poverty. Being overlooked is overlooked. And so I step out on our front porch. We lived on West 24th Street and Pike, and I sold a gram of dope to a confidential informant. I was fresh out of prison. I was in a tank top t-shirt, and I had prison ink on both arms, and the only white boy for 17 blocks. I was the easiest case they ever had to identify. Guess who came and arrested me? Guess how much time they gave me? I go to prison, I do 14 more months, and I make parole again on new time. 5th trip to prison. I don't get offered help, and I don't get services. I'm in a cycle. Anybody do any fishing? You ever do any catch and release? That's what the Department of Corrections was doing for me. I was a big catfish. They'd catch me, they'd let me go. They'd catch me, they'd let me go. And then, December 4th of 2014, I was found non-responsive in a car with a substantial amount of an illicit substance, a backseat full of stolen property, and a pit bull who was my only friend in the world. The police officer got me revived, brought me to, asked me if I was okay. I said I just needed to pull over and take a nap, but while we're on the subject, I'm on parole and I don't have a driver's license. Like somehow that direct assertiveness would make him cut me some slack. And he said, sir, will you step out of the car? And when I did, that dope fell. And it all came running back to me. It was like that 1980 song, It All Comes Running Back to Me Now. It was in slow motion. But something magical happened. I went to prison again. And this time, as a returning citizen, instead of going somewhere that I knew I could go, I chose to go somewhere else. I chose to go to a reentry and a recovery residence. And there, I got the services to get what you're about to see.